Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another Final Fantasy Brave Exvius unit review. Plus, later in the video, I'm going to be talking about the UI. So the UI got changed. So we're going to go over it, all the things that are pertinent immediately. Because I only got a few glances at it, but I can tell you already some things that are quite interesting. So, Poppy is here with a New Vision Awakening. Both sides at EX3, which is kind of okay to get because she's a 5-star. 250% stat buff and also 250% low prestige buff for all allies. Kind of whatever, though at EX3 buff. Kind of whatever, I guess, if you didn't have much else. For both sides, and also for both sides, 250% stat buff and also 200% low prestige buff for all allies at the start of battle. So you get this at the beginning. Okay. Gains dual wield, 80% magic and spiritual dual wield, so not really that big of a deal, but it gives her more stats, I guess, more survivability. In the base form, 25 times mod buff for all allies for Aeroga and Waterga moves, and I don't know if it's more or not, but even if it was, it's not really that good. It's only 25 times mod buff. What are we in, like 2020? 25 times is not that much. And triple cast permanently, but you would still, if you wanted to use any of those unlocked moves, you still have to use that one ability that gave her triple cast at the beginning anyways. So I guess you just cast that every now and then. In the Brave Shift form, she has 3 separate cooldowns for light, water, and wind for one ally, 60% amp. Pretty good though. That's really strong. I think you would bring her along just for that, because she does have buffs, of course. And in the LB is 300% stat buff. It's not 350. So 300% stat buff, 250% low percentage buff, and also 35% amp for those elements that she covers for all allies. Not really worth using, and I feel like it's just a downgrade from her regular LB, even though it's weaker, or her regular LB is actually technically weaker. But she doesn't have any imperils like her base LB did. And by the way, her base LB didn't change at all. It's still the same, which is really disappointing. So she has limited turns in her Brave Shift. She only has 2 turns. So you basically have time to use 1 amp and her Brave Shift LB, and that's it. You're back to the base form for several turns. No multicast in the Brave Shift. Really disappointing. Brave Shift LB could have been better for how limited it is, whatever. And she, like as you can see here, she doesn't really gain much new. But it doesn't mean she's bad. It just means that she's really limited, and you wouldn't bring her along for a lot of things other than, for example, if you need 60% amps. I think in Dark Visions, for example, you probably would bring her along, because I think 60% amps will help scores quite a bit. People in global already know how good that is, because we already have 60% amps in the global version. So, all in all, I'm gonna go ahead and give her 8, and that's generous because of the 60% amps. That's it. That's all you would really bring her for at this point. I mean, she does have buffs, and they're just okay buffs. And of course, you'd probably want to get her EX3 for that. So, all I can say about her, unfortunately, it kind of makes me sad a little bit, but not too much. Because at least she's not absolutely terrible. She's pretty good, but nothing super amazing either, if you get what I mean. And here's Louise on the JP version. Two-handing. I knew that they would do this. I knew that they would do this for Louise. They always do this for JP units. They always swap around the TMR and STMR in a lot of units. So her TMR is the heavy armor, and her STMR is a gun that's two-handed. 240 magic, which is quite a lot, and 200% magic TDH, which is quite good as well. So maybe in the future a mage would like to have this, I guess. Infinite turns. Both sides. She has 300% magic in regular TDH. I'm not sure why she has regular TDH, but she does. 500% cap, 200% low burst damage, and also 200% avian machine insect reaper killer. So you can already see that the shaft is coming because she doesn't have all those killers that she had in the global version. In the base form, she has a 1050 times magic asterisk damage, 27 hits, so it's very similar to Kami, the collaboration unit, where he doesn't have any triple cast or anything. He just casts 27 hits with one move. She also has an awakened ability that gives, sorry about the sniffling. She has an awakened ability that gives her 1200 MP and also some MP, some Lumphurst crystals. She's gonna need that MP because this chaining move here, the 27 hits, costs quite a bit of MP, 700 I believe. That's quite a lot. She has 150% Reaper Killer for all allies. That's pretty decent. The LB, and by the way, that's not restricted to anything. That's not restricted to an EX level, so that's at least decent. The LB is a 200% Lumphurst damage buff, 200 times light magic damage. At stacking, that's not an asterisk version, that's just light magic damage. 1 time, 170 times, and also 370 times max. 60 times more versus Reaper. 1.1 hits. So, sadly it's light damage, and we know how bad that is. It's basically, light damage is the new dark damage back then, where everybody was afraid of using dark damage. This is the new one. So, it's such a high modifier. It's the highest modifier in the game by itself, of course, without any kind of other outside help or any modifier buffs or anything, because now it's 370 times plus 60 times more versus a Reaper. Very powerful, but it's not non-elemental, sadly. So if you're facing a Reaper and they don't have any light resistance or any strong light resistance, they're gonna die very fast because that's very powerful. Keep in mind, guys, magic variance is in effect, so with their two-handed gun, that is pretty good. We're gonna be talking about the gun in a little bit though. In the Brave Shift form, 50 times mod buff for physical LB because her LB is asterisk damage, so it will work for her. And also 300% storm buff, so quite good. You would use this before you use her LB. So basically, her LB is 300 times mod buff that can be imbued. That's one hit, as long as you use the cooldown. And she also has 150% insect killer for all allies. Not too bad. So there are some big cons, including something that she was known for. She doesn't have any gun imperils. Not that I saw. Maybe they're hidden somewhere in very small print somewhere, but she doesn't have any gun imperil, I'm pretty certain. And this is the biggest con. I can't believe they did this. She is imbued with light at the start of battle. Regardless if you want it or not, it's not a team R ability or anything like that. It's not a normal attack. She's just imbued with light at the start of battle. It gives her some amps and it gives a light imperil, but really? What's the point of making her asterisk damage if you just imbue her with light anyways? So now you gotta take your time and dispel that if you don't want light. That's really stupid. Why go out of your way to make her be able to be imbued and you just make her light anyways? And I'm pretty sure it's for both sides. It's for both sides. So you have to dispel her imbue. That's such a waste of time. Her base LB is fine though, because it's actual magic damage, so she doesn't care about that, but it's light anyways. So I think her Brave Shift form is really bleh, in my opinion. Not really worth it. I think her base form is much stronger, which is ironic, because that's completely in reverse on the other version. Mostly, I mean, of course she has a few good things in her base form, but of course her Brave Shift form is where the damage is. And so by the way, no morale abilities. People are really straight, like say, oh, is Cal coming to JP? No, there's no morale abilities. And no strong light imperil. I think 120% is the max. So other than her base LB mod being so powerful, it's restricted to light, and there's really nothing else good about her. No gun imperil at all, but she's using a gun. I'm gonna go 8 out of 10 because her LB is very powerful, but there's just so many restrictions, and it's not. I don't think you would ever bring her along unless you're facing a Reaper and they're weak against light, or at least neutral to light or something. Because how would you bring her along otherwise? I really don't know. I really don't think you would. So 8 out of 10 for Louise. Now let's talk about Ling. Her TMR is just 100% magic true to wield. Okay. And her STMR gives her a lot of HP, a bit of magic, and it's a one-handed dagger, by the way, and also some killers. Okay. Infinite turns, good. And on both sides she has a one-use greatness to fill LB instantly, for her own, of course. The base form has a lot of green and white magic. There was just too much to list. So she does have 50% all mitigation, like physical, magical, general mitigation, and one ability, plus some ice and resist, and I think lightning resist as well, 200%. That's quite good. She also has fire and ice imbues, plus amps, and like I said, mitigation. She has a 300 times mod buff to one ally for ability magic damage, with spirit ignoring, I believe. So that's quite powerful. There's not, I don't know how many options you would have for that, but keep in mind though, it's abilities, not LBs. Because if it was LBs, that'd be insanely broken. Because you probably would be able to find something that has spirit ignore as an LB, but it's an ability, so it's a little more restrictive. But it's could be OP in the future. She has her own thing that I believe you could. I don't know if you can use that on herself or not, but she has her own ability that's like that. So maybe you'd use that on herself, because it just says one ally and it doesn't say except self, because it usually would say that. So I'm assuming you would use this on herself for one of the abilities we'll be talking about shortly here. Her LB revives all allies, whatever. I mean, most times you're not reviving anyone anymore, because if you are, you're in a bad spot, or you're starting. And 100% elemental resist, physical and magical mitigation, 50% versus beast, avian, aquatic, and dragon types. So not too bad. In the brave shift form, this is the move I was talking about. 1,400 times mod fire magic damage with spirit ignore, 2 hits, on top of 130% fire imperil. So you most likely will be using that cooldown of 300 times mod buff on herself for this move. So now it's 1,700 times fire magic damage with spirit ignore, which is very powerful. That's an insane modifier now, because keep in mind that's 50% spirit ignore, so you do 1,700 times 2, so that's insane. She also has 50 times mod buff for chaining she gives, which is really not that big. When we're gonna be talking about the modifiers of those in a bit, and you'll see like only 50 times, really. 600% cap, 100% magic true to wield. Mediocre, because true wielding at this point is really bad, but whatever. Maybe they'll buff true to wield soon. 150% low burst damage, passive. 200% killers for beast, avian, dragon, and aquatic. And the LB is physical killers versus beast, avian, dragon, and aquatic. 150%, of course. And gives all allies multiple. I didn't really know how to word this properly. So basically, her brave shift LB gives chaining, just like how her one move, her ability in the global version gives 2 chaining for all allies. So basically, 1,500 times or 1,550 times with that cooldown versus races. So 1,500 times versus beast and avian and aquatic. They're all separate, but that's a strong modifier if you're fighting against those races, and you're given 4 options, so that's a pretty good variety. So I think that they at least tried with Ling. They did give her some uniqueness, some variety of things that she can do. Of course, it's nowhere near the uniqueness that the global version had, but I think that she's at least somewhat unique for the JP version, at least. So, like I mentioned, true to wield is pretty mediocre, especially if you're like a support with true to wield, it's whatever, but it's like you don't care too much. But if you're being like a damage dealer and you're true to wield, it's like a death sentence, really, because the magic variance is so powerful. And like I mentioned, she's not as gifted on like the global version as, but she does have some uniqueness, like the 200% ice and lightning resist, which is insane, and 50% all mitigations, and you know, there's a lot of things that she has. I'll say that. And the Brave Shift LB are physical killers only. Just keep that in mind. So I'm gonna give her a 9 out of 10 because she does have a lot of variety for the JP version, at least. This is quite a bit of variety. I was expecting for both of these units to get the shaft, but only one of them did, basically. So I think Ling is pretty good. Anyways, let's talk about the UI changes. I'm just doing the raid. It's the same UI here, of course. I'm just doing the raid to show you guys what it looks like when you complete a stage. Skip this. This video is already long enough as it is. I'm trying to get through I'm gonna quickly show you guys, so you can already tell it looks a little different. But yeah, this is very smooth. You just click here and you click there and you're done. That's it. There's no pop-up waiting for coins to show up or anything like that. It's instant. So that's pretty neat, right? That's pretty neat. Shows your rank here. It's almost the same as before, but you can show off your medal a little easier to yourself now than before. You can also see that the guild cap still hasn't changed. So this is the UI. You can show off a vision card if you'd like. You can tell that it's not edged out properly because this light thing that comes up comes like you can see that there's a border around that. So you can also play music for the VC. Here's the inbox. Here's the missions daily. Here's the raid, or here's the arena. You can tell that. Here's the main events, and this is story, and this is item world. So, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this? Pretty interesting UI change. Also, pots have been condensed, or everything has been condensed basically. So, if you go to a unit, let's just go to Mog for example. Now you can just level everything up here. Just click massively like this. See this? Just go like that, and then you click OK, and you know they're just. It's easy, right? That's pretty easy. I would say that's pretty easy. No more having to worry about stuff and whatnot. So let's go for another unit. She's a physical attacker. I don't need attack pots apparently. Okay. Oh, I think she's already capped on attack. Never mind. So we can do this, do this, do this. Look at that. Look how easy this is. So easy. Very easy to do. That's really easy, guys. Alright, well, that's gonna be it. Oh. Whoa. 4,005. What? I'm never gonna be full now. I didn't even see that. I don't know if that was from last. I don't think, because it was like 1,700 times 1,700 to the max before. 4,000. I'm never gonna be full. Alright guys, thank you guys very much for watching. This video is very long. If you watch all the way to the end, make sure to just leave a comment down below, say hi or something. Appreciate you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.